not even email, honestly. I'm realizing everything in life, it just boils down to communication. You know, whenever there was an issue, like during the summertime, we would be like down the shore, and like this year I was actually good at, like I did what I was supposed to do. But years past, like I kind of just was like, what, I'm off. And you come back to a complete mess, and what ends up happening is like there's all these ill feelings and everything else, and it boiled down to a lack of communication. Um, whenever I have issues with my wife and we're fighting and whatnot, it boils down to a lack of either just communication in general or a lack of effective communication, right? And so anyway, I took a different approach than most to like start bringing on these wholesale customers. And not that we're completely flooded, but we keep on adding more and more people in. And it came down to my it wasn't the lack of communication, it was because of all the communication, right? And it wasn't because I was physically calling these people, it was because I was sending them emails and sending them text messages and stuff like that. And we got quite a few people because of that. And we did the same thing with defense company. They would basically, it was just a process, and they call it like funnels and stuff like that for like online marketing. And it doesn't have to be super complicated. It's basically, the lead comes in somehow, right? So either they, for a fence company, they're, calling, they're doing a contact form. If you're using a tool like, My Salesman, something like that, you're getting their lead that way, right? Well, most people just leave it at that. And like, you talk to them, if they don't move forward, like you're just done, right? Whereas, what we do is, especially with the My Salesman leads, and like the very, before we even talk to them, once the lead comes in, they get into my email list, and then I'm shooting them emails, right? And I talked about it a lot of times before, but hoping that if I say it in different ways, like, people take action on it, or you just hear me enough, and you're like, what, let me just try this. But basically, it's just emails, and a lot of them are helpful emails. Talked about it yesterday, like jab, 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 right hook. It's like give, 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 ask, right? Ask for the sale, and it's just doing helpful content. So building out helpful content, like whatever industry is, and going after, like you literally just figure out what the main questions people have and answer them, right? And you don't do it all at once. Like do several emails. Maybe in the beginning, what I typically like to do is I will get them, send them an email every single day, right? And then so that would be for like a week or two, and then after that, what we end up doing is then it goes like every few days, because like when people first contact you, that's when they're most likely to move forward with the job. So that's why I keep hitting them up and going and going and going. And it could be all kinds of things, right? So it could be the common questions that they have. It could be like meet the owner. It could be like a process video. Like now that you contacted us, like what's going to happen next, right? There's by Donald Miller, there's Building a Story Brand, which is a really good book. It talks about like, his main thing is like, the main saying is like, if you confuse, you lose. And if they don't know what the process is, if they don't understand, and they're much more likely just to go away, right? If they're trying to do this big project and like you're not making it easy on them, and they got to figure a bunch of stuff out, and there's like a lot of shit going on. Pool is a good example. Like if you go through and they think that like, oh, I need to hire this person, I need to hire that person, and now I need to wait weeks for this and blah blah blah, they're probably not moving forward. But if it's like, especially with like fiberglass pools, like if you go in with this, where it's like, hey, here's the process, one, two, three, one, you give us a call, we give you a quote over the phone. Two, we go out to do on-site measurements, blah, blah, blah. And three, we, drop in the pool and you can swim 2 weeks later. Like people are going to go with that, right? Because it's nice and simple. So, but the emails help. You can set that up. I use Send in Blue right now. The only thing I don't like, which was a mess, is whenever people unsubscribed, it didn't automatically take them out of the system. So they were still getting emails. Like it made no freaking sense. And one guy was completely pissed off, and to the point of like threatening me. but it is what I think it was just a lunatic. But people are crazy. So, but it's easy to set up, or you could just do manual emails. If you have like a list of, if you don't have a ton of people, right? So you could, keep a list down on like, I don't know, a spreadsheet, something like that, and then you just send an email to everyone, each time. But with Sendinblue and the different emails and stuff like that, you can set up automation. So basically, as you add them in, so if once they first contact you, you can add them into the list, even if you just manually enter them in. And then after that, like you can set up where like email one goes out, then 2 days later, email two, and then three, and so forth and so on. So it makes it nice and simple. And then you can get more advanced, like where it's like with webhooks and stuff. It doesn't. You can automate the process, but in the beginning, if you're not getting a shit ton of leads, like you can spend the 4 seconds to like put them into the system. So hopefully that helps. It's definitely been huge. By far, I'm gonna pimple lip right here. It hurts. It's been huge. And there's been like the one big guy that we brought in so far was literally because of the emails that I sent Erber. There's been people that basically said, hey, I'm not interested because I do mostly commercial work, but I see the emails that you're doing and you're doing a great job, like that kind of thing. So just some things to think about. And again, going back to reaching out to 1, 2, or 3, local companies in the area and doing the same thing. There's another way that people can do this as well, which we're starting to do with landscapers, is Facebook ads, right? Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. Because they may not even know about your service. They may not even think about the potential of like, why recommend, and like you do a whole sales sheet on this shit, right? So like, why would you want to recommend us? And the reason, because we're going to treat your customers with respect and blah blah blah, we do what we say, blah blah blah, because it's your name on the line and whatever else it may be. The other thing you can start targeting is like going after these people, and like, maybe it's where you're offering some kind of referral, and because of that, they can you could do like earn every, $100 for every customer you refer. Like you can run Facebook ads for this. Like that part would get expensive, but you could like target thousands of businesses pretty damn quickly. So there's all different ways you can do it, but the point of the whole conversation is like you have to communicate with these people in whatever method you're going to do. Is it in print format? Is it in emails? Is it in ads? Is it in videos? Like what is it? So anyway, hope you guys have an awesome day. It's raining here again, but here we go.